Hi there! Welcome to the Gardens and Graveyard channel. My name is Charisma and today we're meeting in the backyard and we are going to have our September backyard garden tour. It is definitely the end of the season. Things are definitely looking tired, and next time you see this garden, it's gonna look pretty bare because Spencer and I are both very much ready to rip out a bunch of annuals, and things need to be cut back. All the fall things are just like screaming at us. And we're really looking forward to having kind of like an empty space for a little while. It has been a really fun summer. We planted tons of wildflowers, so everything looks very cottage garden-esque, which has been super fun. But it's also, I don't know, it kind of like wears on your nerves after a while. I'm craving just empty serenity. And since we don't get true winters here, we don't get like a blanket of snow, we have to create that winter in our garden, and that means stripping everything down so that it just looks empty. But for right now, we're still really enjoying. There's still a lot of color, so I mean, it's not like we're gonna come in and strip it all tonight, but it's slowly gonna start coming down. I'm looking forward to showing you some really fun things that are blooming, and we're just gonna walk around the backyard and check it out. Now we're gonna start with the porch baskets because they're just looking so darn fantastic. You know, we had a little bit of a lull, and then we had some warm weather, and they all just burst open again. There's a couple, like I need to deadhead this one. This is the pink cashmere Superbena and the yellow mini vistas, and this is the pink star mini vista with the yellow mini vista. I'm so happy with these pots. They're so fun this year. Okay, let's just go into the backyard. We have our orange cannas are starting to bloom, which is fun. They're kind of like, I could see them up on the porch, but they're way up there. I'm down below. So this area, as you can see, is just kind of wild. This is a generic petunia, but we got it because it had the pink and yellow stripes. It matched the theme of the year. They did fantastic all summer long, which has been really fun. We did have to deadhead them regularly. They need to be deadheaded again. This is a coleus that it just didn't do much this year. I don't know. All of this is about to come down. It is starting to go to seed, and while I love this patch, I don't need it bigger, so we're gonna tidy that up pretty soon. You can see the lovey-doveys are looking pretty darn good. That's the petunia with the white and with the pink stripe. They got massive this year, super fun, mounded up, trailed down, did exactly what I had hoped they would do. I mean, I just love this bed. It looks so fantastic. But you can also tell that, you know, there's a lot of sparse stretchingness going on here, and it's just the end of the season. We did have a few dahlias bloom. Oh darn, this one fell off. So this is a red dahlia that's done on the black foliage, which is really pretty, and then this one is a yellow on the black foliage, which was also really pretty. And then we have this Miranda dahlia. Would you look at her? She's so precious. I love this really soft, sweet lavender margins. So you could see the petals come out white with the lavender margin, and then the lavender sort of just like takes over and it becomes the whole petal. Oh gosh, it's so pretty. So pretty. I wasn't expecting it to get this big, so that's really exciting. All right, so let's just cruise over to this direction, I think. I don't know. Over here, we have Autumn Joy Sedum. This big patch right here. It's all starting to color up for the fall. It does such a fantastic job coloring up in the fall time. It's so pretty. This sedum is going to get dug up and divided and moved around the garden a little bit. We will leave some here, but we're going to redo this whole bed this fall. We have oregano, it's in full bloom. We have some calendula. The safflowers are done. You can see they're just all like, yeah, they're done. And then we have a petite pink Proven Winners Galleria there. And then we have a Jacob's Klein bee balm. I don't expect this one to bloom this year, although it's looking like it's threatening to. We just put it in a pot because we had a big clump of it in here once and we loved it, so we want to add that back into the butterfly garden. But the butterfly garden is going to get completely changed out this fall and winter. We love having it. It's right above our living room window. We get to watch all the activity. When we have the Jacob's Klein in here, we get to have hummingbirds, but there's nothing really here right now for hummingbirds. We haven't seen a whole lot of that since we took down the crocosmia over there. Tons of pollinators. I'm seeing bees and bumbles and I don't know what flies, like the little tiny flies that look like bees all over. But it's just tired. It's like 5 years old and it's overgrown and whatever. Okay, so we're not going to go into the moon garden, but we have another lovey-dovey up there on the pedestal that's also just getting a little tired. We have some fuchsia starting to bloom in that pot, which is kind of fun. And then, of course, we have the Creeping Jenny that's taken over as a ground cover, which I kind of love. Let's just take a quick look here at our greenhouse. This is our first full year. I think the greenhouse went up in October last year. I know we were laying the foundation this time of year last year. So into September, early October, it was complete. So we have had a full season with it and we're so pleased. And it looks so sweet behind all the wildflowers that we planted in that raised bed in front. We're gonna have a totally different look next year, but this has been a really, really fun year with the greenhouse as sort of the centerpiece of this garden. It fits, the scale is so perfect, especially since we raised it up on cinder blocks. It just makes my heart happy. All right, so in this raised bed, we have a pumpkin growing. I don't see any pumpkins yet. We do have some lupins in here, and there's one blooming, just kind of odd and late in the season, but that's fine. We have the escalonias are in here with some straw flowers. There's some straw flowers, and I'm doing this tour right now because this is like the perfect time to harvest many of these straw flowers. So I want to do that, but I wanted you to see them being all colorful and pretty before I cut them down. Probably this evening or at least by tomorrow. Because if I don't, they do this. And once they look like this, they don't dry. This turns like a weird gray brown color, and then the petals will start falling off and turn brown. So yeah, you don't want to harvest them when they look like that. All right, what else do we have? We have these dianthus. It's time to deadhead them again all the time. The more you deadhead them, the more flowers you get. They smell so good. I love having this right here. It's so fun because I could just walk by and kind of like move the plant and it perfumes the air. All right, over here we have Spencer's Corner. He did a fantastic job in planting up this space. It looks so full now. A few different flowers. They've just been blooming. You've seen this in every tour all summer long. They just have bloomed and bloomed and bloomed. This is a pink bacopa. This is like sunshine in a basket or something like that. And then these are snapdragons that I planted by seed last year, and they came back, and they've just, this is the, I think the 4th time they've been in full bloom. And they're just these deep fuchsia, beautiful flowers. I'm also going to be making a flower arrangement out of that this evening, so the color's gonna be gone. And so I needed to show you now. And then this has been such a fun little surprise in the garden this year. Spencer planted up the trailing black-eyed Susan vine. That's a Proven Winners black-eyed Susan vine, and then one nasturtium, and it just, they complement each other so well. It's just like quintessential country, like, can't you just see that on a barn or something, especially with my red house, right? I love it. It's so great. I don't have any idea if we could ever replicate something so perfect again, but it has been a joy to have in the garden. The hostas are kind of like going down for the season. Same with our rhubarb. It's just turning yellow, and it's like, you know, it's done. I did a bunch of deadheading on the lamb's ear recently, but looking good. That patch we planted out last fall, I think we planted it in the fall, and it did really well, and it's thickening up. It's really fun. We have a sunflower drying here for the squirrels. All of our hellebores are kind of perking up in the cooler weather. They were looking a little bit tired, but they're looking better now that the weather has cooled off. We have some chocolate flowers still hanging on here, but I really wanted to show you this Kupferzasser vine. It has not yet started blooming. It looks like, I don't know that it will. It bloomed super late last year. I don't know really what to expect of this thing, except that I really love that it covers that whole cattle panel. Like, it did a really good job doing that in one season. It's pretty exciting. And then we have a zucchini here that's time to harvest. I think we have another one. The zucchinis are definitely tired. All right, let's see what else. The butterfly bush is done for the season. We have just a few way up there. All I do with this, because I cut it down basically to the fence line, about 3 feet tall, in the spring, because they bloom on new wood. But I do go through and cut down all of the spent blooms, because this, I believe this is a sterile variety. It was here when we moved in, but I've never ever had a volunteer butterfly bush pop up in my garden anywhere, or in my compost at all. So that's cool, but they just look tired and kind of ugly. And then once rains come, this just gets all brown and mushy and like gross. So it's just better to cut them off. We have a few pincushion flowers just still kind of hanging on in here. These are still my favorite. They're so fun. But I'm actually letting them go to their seed head form, because this is what I want for dried flower arrangements. And then down this way, we do have the Bidens that could be deadheaded again, and some volunteer millet from the bird food. That's what that grass is. And then we have the Antique Shades violas that I planted from seed in January and planted them out here this spring. And this has been so fun. I am definitely planting or, you know, growing violas from seed again. Like, I cannot believe, like, this one's starting to look a little struggly, but this one gets a little bit more sun. And I really feel like I could just cut it back and it'll flush out again. I cut these all back. They all flushed out again. Maybe 2 months ago, I cut them back. So, oh, gosh, they're so fun. Just so many different colors. It's just been, oh, so happy with it. Okay, and you may not notice, but I sure notice how empty it looks up there. We cut back a tree a month ago, and oh, it looks so great. It's so like my garden can breathe. I'm just so glad that I cut it back, although I'm gonna miss the white bark in the winter. I know that. Here's another squash that is definitely done for the season. Look at this. It's so sad. It's trying. It tried. Look at that. But really, the soil is only like maybe 4 inches deep in there. So I was really just trying to go for like a rambling, fun plant. The blossoms are so pretty, aren't they? And squash blossoms are edible. So really, I could have just been maybe harvesting these and stuffing them with some cream cheese or something, deep frying them. There's a whole bunch coming on. Maybe I could just do that since I'm not going to get any squash. Yeah. All right. Let's turn around, look at the greenhouse from the back, because let's look at the greenhouse from every direction. The sunflowers are still going. They're still so tall. We've cut back a few, and I learned from some Instagram reel that I was watching that we can cut the sunflower stalks, and they're really strong, and we could use them to stake. So this is a sunflower stalk. I just grabbed a little tie so that this can be upright, because it was laying over here onto the rhododendron. So I just did that. I cut maybe 4 or 5 sunflowers down and just used their stalks. Pretty cool. This is the Suncredible Saturn from Proven Winners, and it is such a beautiful sunflower. Let's get in here. I'm definitely going to grow these again next year. They've just been so great. The more you deadhead them, the more they bloom. It's just, they're powerhouse sunflowers. And then these really super tall ones are the Fantasy Van Gogh mix from Sunflower Steve. I love that one. It's like a light yellow teddy bear style. And then that one over there has like all these sunset colors. Super fun. That one's not as full as that one. It's a little bit more traditional. And then we've got a couple that haven't opened up yet. We've got a little bit shorter ones that are really full. That's so pretty. And we have this one over here that I was admiring. Look at that. Let's see if I can get it in some shade so you can see. Look at that. It's so fun with the red splashes in there. I love that. So yeah, there's the sunflower patch. And I have a squash growing in here too, but it didn't get much sun. It's just kind of extra plant, I guess. Then we've got our raspberries, which just did so good this year. There were, I lost track of how many pints of raspberries I picked off of this thing. And now it's time to, trellis them again and cut back the old ones and just make them nice and tidy again. Before we leave this area, I just wanted to point out these dark purple butterfly bush flowers. I love this one. the ones at the tippy top are done blooming, but there's still just a few hanging on here. And then just kind of swoop around this way. We'll take a look at the rose bush. Oh, so sweet. It also did really fantastic all summer long. Yeah, they're all coming into bloom again. Tons of buds up there. I really feel like every time I do this tour, this rose bush has just finished flushing out and has new buds forming, rather than you getting to see the full effect of all the beautiful blossoms. So I'm sorry about that. I'll try to be better about that next year. All right, so this is, you know, just the evergreens, but we did do a lot of cleanup in there, so it just looks nice and clean. Let's pop over into the inside of the greenhouse garden and inside the greenhouse before we end the tour. While we're over here, we could just look at the chocolate lace flowers. Aren't those so pretty? Oh, they're so pretty. But I'm going to be harvesting these really soon too. And oh, and then of course we still have the California poppies, and we have seed heads, the California poppy seed heads, which is so exciting to me because that means they're going to self-seed, and I will continue to have poppies finally. For the first time in the 7 years we've lived here that we've been trying to grow poppies. All right, let's pop over here. This is the raised bed that we put in here, and I planted all cut flowers. Like, I didn't want anything else except for flowers that I could cut for arrangements, flowers that I can dry and use for winter arrangements. So we have had such a fantastic harvest of all these straw flowers throughout the season. White ones and pink ones, and there's another pink one, dark pink ones. Look at this dark pink one. Yellow ones. Really fun mix. Really happy with it. I love it. We also grew some in another part of the garden that we're allowing to self-seed, so we will have straw flowers forever, I hope. And then we grew some dreadlocks amaranth, and this has been drying absolutely beautiful. I did dry some in the greenhouse earlier this year. They bleached out. They bleached out to this like really soft apricot color, which I could totally use. But the ones that I dried in the kitchen, not in sun, kept the color, which is really what I wanted, right? So these are about to get harvested for dried flowers also. So this patch is going to be gone very soon. I had extra squash that were in my greenhouse. Obviously, don't need to keep them in here. This one's going to bloom. I'm just going to have squash flowers pretty soon. We've got a bunch of Gomphrena, the white and purple little balls down there. Really fun and cute. Those also going to get harvested in the next day or so, because those will dry really lovely. And then these aren't dried flowers, but look at these hollyhocks. I unfortunately am dealing with spider mite at the end of the season, so that's what those little spots are. But oh my gosh, these hollyhocks are absolutely gorgeous. This like super full double hollyhock. Look at them. That is so fun. So fun. What else do I have? I have some celosia in here that's starting to bloom. And then I have a pink flamingo celosia. The little pink ones that have been blooming for a while. One more look. Look at these. Oh, they're so pretty. Okay, so then over here, let me back up because this dahlia got huge. This is a random dahlia that we put in this pot. It was like one of those deals where I had divided a bunch of dahlias and this rhizome kind of got mixed up and I wasn't sure what it was or where it belongs. Well, it absolutely took over this pot. It's huge. Okay. Well, I was expecting some pretty showy things to happen. But instead, I just get flowers that look like this. Like this one's spent because it's brown. But they're just opening up really weird like this. Here's another one. And that's it. That's all it's going to do. It's not going to open up bigger than that. It's just so bizarre. And there's tons of buds that look like this. I've never seen anything like that before. I don't know. I do not know. Isn't that strange? Looks like it would have been so pretty with the red and white. But, yeah. I'm not very impressed. What I am impressed with are these giant pink super petunias. They're so fantastic. They have bloomed so long, and this one was so like persistent. It just started crawling out from underneath this dahlia like, I'm still gonna show off. Then we just recently planted up these yellow mums as we start to transition to fall. A few pots will get fall color, but most don't. Again, the giant pinks. Here's another dahlia that has not bloomed. We've not had a very good, successful year with our dahlias this year. Oh well. Did okay with this silly tomato plant that I never got around to pinching back, so it's just like tall and spindly. We did put a cage on the bottom because I see some evidence of possibly mouse. You see how it's all like scraped on the bottom there? Yeah, I think we had a little rodent or a chipmunk because we have lots of chipmunks. Kind of messing with it. So, and since I've done that, we've had more fruit set. So I don't know. This was my favorite arrangement of the entire year. Of course, it's definitely getting tired now. The leaves are just like done. And the amaranth has gone to seed. And the feverfew is definitely done. They all looked like this like a week ago. They're done now. But really fun little combo there. And then our flowering maple has just been blooming consistently all summer long, dropping blooms as well. But this has been a great success because we have not been able to grow these and we've wanted to. So we're really happy that we had such a successful year. Again, the holy basil, and again, I think I keep catching on video that I need to clip back the flowers, which I have to do like every other day. So that's that. Here's the last remaining Lisianthus that we planted. We planted a dozen of them in January. And we lost all of them. And I put the last two, I mean, they were like this tiny. I put them in here to see if they would do anything. Well, they're growing. They're still not blooming. I will never plant Lisianthus again. I cannot deal with babying seedlings for 10 months. That's just, I can't do it. This one had a really fantastic, showy dreadlock. And I just wanted to see if it would do it again, but instead it just made all these little tiny babies. It's so fun. But not really worth, like, keeping. Then we have our peppers, which I'm going to come out here and harvest peppers after I'm done with this video. Look at them. These are the Anaheim peppers. They Oh, they're so delicious. We've had, I think, 5 now come off of those 2 plants. Really great. And I've harvested 4 bell peppers off of this plant. This one's ready to come off too. Just really fun to have peppers and tomatoes in the greenhouse. All right, one more thing that I noticed when we were out here. I'm sure my voice changes so much when I'm in the greenhouses versus when I'm not. So weird. Sorry. Can you see those begonias blooming in the back of that pot? Look at that. Well, I guess that's why you plant in the back of a pot, because every once in a while you do see the back of the pot, and it's a fun little surprise to have some color in there. All right, well, anyway, that is the last of our backyard garden tour. I know it was a long one. Again, it has just been a really fun year, and I just wanted to take my time walking through the backyard one more time, because I know that our next tour, even if we break up the front yard, backyard tours, they're not going to be that long, because there's not going to be as much going on anymore. So I appreciate you tagging along with me and hanging out while we walked around the backyard today. I hope that you're celebrating your life, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.